Hey everyone, it's Matt, your favorite treasure hunter here. Just letting you know that for this episode, we had some problems with the audio. And I'm aware that it sounds like we used a potato instead of a microphone, but I did what I could to salvage it. Just bear with us this time, we're still working some kinks out. We'll be back next episode with crystal clear audio, I promise. Other than that, we had a lot of fun recording it, so hope you guys enjoy.
Yeah, but you can't just cut words out of a conversation without
I can.
being weird. Okay. Wait, do you know how to bleep things?
I could probably figure it out.
I just want one time to just be talking and then just be like, you can bleep this out, right? And then you'd be like, yeah, and I'll just be like, I'll be like, and then Shelby!
Okay, I think that's enough.
Welcome to the
Golden Boys
podcast.
There's gold in them nar hills. There's gold in them nar hills. I'm off for California, for there's gold in them nar hills.
Ready to get this started?
Let's do it.
Let's do it! Alright.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the Golden Boys podcast.
Booyaka.
I am your host, Matt, and standing directly in front of me is your co-host, Richard.
I'm not standing, I'm sitting.
Well, same thing.
No, it's not.
So, we are back to our second episode on the Skeleton Canyon treasure. And before we get started, Richard is going to give us a quick recap what we went through in the last episode.
When we last left you, we had just learned about Curly Bill and the Brocious gang, who robbed a Mexican convoy and stole between $2 and $8 million, allegedly, and hid it somewhere in the Arizona desert, along with a mass grave of unfortunate teamsters, horses, and a burnt wagon. After which, Billy Grounds and Zwing Hunt hid in the mountains for a few months before their imminent deaths shortly after leaving.
All right, perfect. So in this episode, we're going to go over where we think it is, and also why people haven't found it yet. Because no one's found this thing, and it's a pretty big treasure, right? You've got to, if you live in Arizona, you've probably heard of this.
And I live in Arizona, and I've lived here my whole life, and never heard of it.
Yeah, so if you live in Arizona, you've probably heard of it. So we're going to get into first my theories.
Do I have theories?
Yeah, I like to think you do.
I'm going to come up with theories.
All right, you come up with theories in the next few minutes. All right, so the legends and most of the literature about the whole thing says that it's in the Palencia Mountains, as you can recall, right? So first of all, it is called the Skeleton Canyon treasure. So most people think that it's been in Skeleton Canyon, which makes sense. But
Does it though?
I don't think it's in the Skeleton Canyon.
If you know what's in the Skeleton Canyon, what is it? Skeleton.
You're probably right.
Yeah.
So the reason that I don't think it's in the Palencia Mountains is because, first of all, Billy Grounds and Zwing Hunt never stated that it is in the Skeleton Canyon.
Did they state where it is?
They didn't specifically say that, but they never specifically said that it's not there.
It sounds like they just didn't talk about where it is.
I don't think they ever really did. I think in those... Okay, so the letters...
That'd just be bad form to be
So the letters that we read last time are not real. But,
yeah, I remember.
But...
I remember very, very much that wasn't real.
But there are actual real letters.
Clouds are cotton candy, Matt. That is a thing that you had me read as a fact.
Okay, so I may have stretched the truth a little in those letters. So there are real letters, but no one's actually ever seen them.
Okay.
In the letters, apparently, Billy Grounds actually says where the treasure is.
Okay.
Because he wants people to find it. Because
Does he want people to find it, or whoever he sent the letters?
Yeah, he wanted his sister to find it.
Yeah,
Magdalene. I don't know her
It
last
was
name
either
is.
in Philadelphia or
Where was it? San Antonio?
Yeah,
I think it's San Antonio. Yeah. So why would Billy Grounds and Zwing Hunt, who were in the Curly Bill Brocious gang,
Why would they hide the treasure so close to the original burial site? That doesn't make any sense.
Because they hid it without anyone else.
Yeah, but like, if they didn't want this gang to find them, which, if you think about gangs are pretty violent. So why would they want to be fucking killed by these other people that they know?
Because if you remember the original story, they killed a bunch of fucking horses.
Exactly.
Because they couldn't carry the amount of treasure that they stole.
Exactly, they're freaking crazy.
Because, like I said, they should have brought everyone.
Yeah, but they are crazy. That is my point. Why would they...
Crazy, they just don't think about what they should do.
Yeah,
Zero.
I guess that's a pretty good point.
Yeah,
but
they're just idiots. They're not crazy, they're idiots.
I don't think that these two people are dumb enough to hide it in the same canyon that they went to go pick it up in.
To be fair, though, have you ever been in a canyon?
Yes.
Okay. And then, have you ever been like, there's probably a treasure over there?
No.
Like, it's really hard to just look at a spot and be like, there's probably a treasure.
Yeah, but you gotta remember that these people were like, they went back to the spot and they just like stomped around like where all those dead bodies were that they killed.
Yeah, they weren't even looking for the 3-foot obelisk.
Oh shit, there ain't no treasure here.
They weren't even looking for the 3-foot obelisk.
Well, the 3-foot obelisk didn't come into it.
Yeah, because they didn't know about it because they didn't have the letters.
Yeah, but why? I mean, if they dug down into this like where they thought they left the treasure. Yeah. And they didn't find anything, they would immediately look around their immediate vicinity.
I mean, would you though? Like, imagine if you were like looking for a treasure, and you were like, X marks the spot. There's a giant X there, or whatever. You find all the dead Mexican Teamsters, and then like 30 yards away, there's nothing there to mark it, but also like that's exactly where the treasure is because someone just like literally dug it up, moved 30 yards away.
Yeah, but you got to remember that Swing Hunt and Billy Grounds were in a cave like right next to
Did
it.
they check the cave? They should have probably. I would have dug it in the cave. If I'm hanging out in the cave, I would.
We got to go interview that cave.
Interview a cave.
Tune into our next episode where we interview the cave.
We'll be in a cave with a mic and a shovel. And I'll show Matt just how large caves can be because you can't just be like, we're in the cave, dig straight down, and here's treasure.
Welcome to the Cave Podcast.
Echo.
Okay, so I don't think that they would do that.
Yeah.
But also, so the reason I don't think they would do that is because the Curly Bill gang, like the rest of them, they use like the Skeleton Canyon as their stomping grounds. Like they were all over that canyon. That was like their hood.
Okay, yeah. So that like they would have been in and out of there.
Exactly. So they would have hit it somewhere else.
Especially if you had a little stone obelisk marking it.
Exactly.
Like, they probably would have been like, what the fuck is this stone obelisk?
Yes. So also, there's no Davis Mountain in the Palisade Mountains, and like, if you could remember, the Davis Mountain was like the first thing in it. But most people say that Davis Mountain was the name that the Curly Bill gang gave to a mountain. Like they were like, okay, that mountain there is Davis Mountain because Davis did
that was
whatever
the one
he did.
That was a little bit farther away, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was like the one that you go to first in order to find the treasure.
Yes.
So also, Jack Chandler's ranch, where the two showed up after they left the mountains, that was where Billy Grounds got killed.
Yes.
He got killed at Jack Chandler's ranch.
Yes.
That is really, really far from the Palisade Mountains. Like, it's like crazy far, like 300 miles. So I really don't think that it's in the Palisade Mountains because it doesn't make any sense.
All right.
But I do think that it is somewhere else. And here are some of the places that other people think it might be in.
Oh, please tell.
So one person thinks that Harris Mountain in the Chiricahua Mountains is the mountain that Davis Mountain is supposed to be.
Why do they think that?
Well, okay, so I was reading this really old book. And in the old book, it says that...
You get dust in your eye while reading that old book.
Only because I was rubbing it on my eyes. So in the book, it says that in the Chiricahua Mountains, there is a Davis Mountain in the Chiricahuas.
There's an actual mountain named Davis Mountain.
In the Chiricahua Mountains, which are like, I would say like probably like 100 miles from the Palencia Mountain range.
Is it anywhere near where Homeboy died?
We'll get to that.
Oh, okay.
So the Chiricahua Mountains, there is a Davis Mountain in the Chiricahua Mountains, but it's named Davis Mountain for like a whole other reason, not because of like their friend or whatever.
Like Jimmy Davis.
But Davis Mountain does not have a canyon to speak of anywhere near it.
Okay.
So in the in like the whole like directions, there's a canyon like directly next to Davis Mountain.
Yeah.
But there is a place called Harris Mountain,
Okay.
which is kind of next to Davis Mountain that you could easily mistake for Davis Mountain.
Wait, so there's 2 Davis Mountains.
There's one Davis Mountain.
You said there's another Davis Mountain that doesn't have any mountains near it.
What? No, I said that there is a Davis Mountain, but it doesn't have a canyon near it.
Okay, so there's 2 Davis Mountains.
No, there's one Davis Mountain. The other one is called Harris Mountain, but it could easily be mistaken for Davis Mountain if you were just like a dumb outlaw looking at the mountains.
Well, like all mountains look alike?
Kind of.
Alright, that's fair. We're checking the questions. Go on.
So if
That was an easy confusion, by the way.
Yeah.
Alright.
okay, so if you're just like a dude going through the mountains and you saw like one mountain and then another mountain next to it, you would be like, oh, one of these could be this mountain. You know what I mean? Like you wouldn't know the names of every mountain.
I don't know the names of any mountain.
So these guys, they could have mistaken Harris Mountain for Davis Mountain.
Okay.
And Harris Mountain has a canyon next to it.
Wait, is it because Davis and Harris both end in the same sound?
That might have. I don't think that's the case.
I'm just thinking, I'm trying to think.
Yeah, no, you're giving me good. You give me good material. You just keep going.
Material, and I don't think it's gonna find a treasure. All right, go on.
So Harris Mountain has a canyon next to it called Turkey Creek Canyon, and Turkey Creek Canyon has a place called Crystal Cave, which is right at the mouth of the canyon, which is where they say that the cave was that they stayed in.
What?
Billy Grounds and Zwing Hunt.
Okay, so there's a mountain called the exact name of the mountain that they said that has an exact...
It doesn't have a canyon next to it, but Harris Mountain does.
Could it be like a creek? Could it just be an exaggeration?
That's another thing that I'm going to get to. So canyon is relative, right? Like, so you could just be like next to a tiny like runoff and be like, that's the canyon.
I mean, technically, yeah. You can see a fucking anthill and be like, it's a mountain.
Exactly.
You can say a lot
Making
of dumb
mountains
shit.
out of anthills.
Oh, that's very dumb.
Yes.
Yeah. No, you can just say a lot of dumb shit is dumb shit. You know?
That's the problem with a lot of this stuff is that, like, you don't know who to trust because any of these guys just could have been just, like, saying shit.
Yeah, I don't trust any of these guys.
But there's another one, which is a unnamed mountain between Silver City and Lordsburg, New Mexico.
Is it still unnamed?
Yes, it is.
Wait, there are unnamed mountains?
There's a ton of unnamed mountains.
What do you mean there's a ton of unnamed mountains?
Only the biggest mountains get names. Or
That can't be true.
Or the mountains that like look like stuff.
No.
Absolutely.
You're telling me there's mountains out there that just don't have names?
Yes, I am telling you that.
That's wild.
Well, okay, so
that is the treasure of this podcast.
I think what you're thinking of as mountains is like the big, like huge mountains.
I'm thinking of a mountain.
But I'm saying like, I would say like hills, maybe? Like hills are unnamed. You know what I mean?
All right, but hills have names.
Not all hills.
They
Hashtag
should.
not all hills.
What is that hashtag for? What is that hashtag for? What does that even mean?
All right. Listeners at home get it, right?
No, they don't get it. No one gets it. All right, but no, that's... What? No, because just name hills. What are you going to be like? Oh, that hill. And they're like, what hill? And you're like, that one over there. Like, just name the hill. That's ridiculous.
All right, so the next theory could be an unnamed mountain between Silver City and Lordsburg, New Mexico.
Why is that?
Because in the late 1970s, a unknown stranger passed through Silver City.
Okay.
looking for topographical maps of the area.
That's a strange thing to be asking about.
So he caused the stir, obviously, because I found like 3 different websites where someone talks about this one guy. So I imagine just like this guy going to like different just libraries, I guess. Just like, hey, y'all got any topographical maps?
I don't think that's how he talked.
I just imagine that he did.
But also, like, okay, so like,
I guess it was the 1970s, so he's like.
What are these websites?
I didn't cite my work. Sorry, teacher.
Were they treasure hunting websites?
Yes.
All right, so it wasn't just like you read a weird newspaper in the library and it was stranger comes in looking for topographical maps.
So I'm gonna say that like it was probably just like a nerd, and he just like walked into these to Silver City, New Mexico.
Went to a library like most nerds, yeah.
Yeah. So
fucking nerd.
He said that he was a descendant of Zwing Hunt, and he said that he had found some journals claiming that the journal said that it was somewhere between Silver City and Lordsburg that the treasure was.
Is there a possibility who's doing this to get pussy?
There's always the possibility that nerds do anything to get pussy.
I'm just saying, if I walk into a weird town, like, I got a treasure map, I'm saying that to get pussy.
Just like wearing a trench coat.
I have no idea. I have no idea where that treasure is. I'm literally just pretending to get pussy.
So you think that treasure hunting gets you some of that ass? I gotta tell you, son, I've been treasure hunting for a while, and no ass to show about it.
Matt, I feel like you need to redefine what you think treasure is. Because sometimes the treasure is the treasure in between someone's legs.
Oh, that's beautiful.
It is.
Are you a poet?
Pussy poet. Sometimes the penis will. A lot less often.
That'll happen. You gotta swing between the two. So he said that that Davis Mountain was a code that basically you could only understand if you were in the Curly Bill Brocious gang.
Was he in the Curly Brocious gang?
No.
Yeah, that makes sense because you said this was in the 1970s.
But he said that like he found like a journal from Zwing Hunt that said like, oh, you gotta, take the W and ING out of Zwing Hunt and tape it to a, you put RIGHT before it, and then you get right wing.
What? I was trying to do the mental.
I'm not really sure on my brain.
Olympics. What? I have a quick question.
Yes.
And this isn't going to be something you know from your research. Why did all these people have journals?
I think everybody back then just kind of had a journal.
Why?
Like
that doesn't make sense.
I think to keep from going crazy. I mean, like, think about it. Back then, you didn't have TV. You didn't have anything besides sex. And if you weren't having sex, you got to do something about it.
I mean, you have tons of shit. You have food. You have goats. Apparently, you could just kill a horse. Like,
do you get excited about goats? Is that like a hobby of yours?
Have you played the Goat Simulator?
No, I haven't.
It's kind of fun.
Is it fun?
Yeah. No, but like there's tons of other shit in life. Like that's why people would be apprentices and like got really into like I don't know, like making pamphlets and shit.
Yeah,
like you could just do all sorts of dumb shit.
I just don't imagine back then it was a lot of fun. I feel like you had to do something to keep yourself from going crazy.
Yeah, but even the people who did all the dumb things I'm saying had journals.
Yeah.
Like they just had like people who should have been spending all their time at their craft, like went home, put on a weird sleeping cap, and wrote by candle in a journal. Like they were just like, and it wasn't just like their feelings. That's the other thing. It's not like a journal of feelings. It's just like, I'm going to tell all of the relevant, deep, dark secrets that will make future people.
That is a good point, actually.
Like Benjamin Franklin journals. Like if I heard about that, it wouldn't just be like, I ate a fig today. Like it's not shit like that. It's just like his inner musings and like ideas for crazy inventions he never made. And like this is like, I'm gonna write down weird clues to where my treasure is. It's not a journal like we would use today. It's just like they literally just wrote weird, valuable shit that would just only be valuable to
other people in the future.
Like, yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, okay, so I have kind of a theory about that. Is I feel like people in the past who felt very self-important wrote down everything of their day-to-day lives because they seriously felt like in the future somebody's going to read this and they're going to be like, this is it.
So, like, instead of, like, social media where, like, the same people at the same level of self-importance would write about their day, even though it's nothing, they would just write it down in a journal?
Yes.
That makes sense, actually, yeah.
Yeah, that's always a theory that I've always had. Is this? I feel like I think that there are a lot of journals that go unread because they actually never turned out.
Yeah, because it would just be the same as like I had tacos today.
Exactly.
But like some of them are like
Liz. Yes.
Some of them are like Da Vinci's undesigned designs and shit, like things like that.
Because not everybody who is self-important becomes a famous person, but every famous person is self-important. Yes.
Yeah, they're all narcissists who just think that every thought that they have is super important. Of course.
Exactly.
All right, actually, yeah, that's a pretty good theory. I like that.
Yeah.
See, I want the treasure from this podcast to be the things we learn, I think.
Yeah, I imagine it will be someday. What is a podcast if not a journal for future people?
Oh, shit. Are we falling into the trap we just discussed?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, in order to do something like this, you have to have like a certain level of self-importance, right?
I have 0 level of self-importance.
Yeah, but this is my idea.
Really trying to separate.
I know you were. So let's get into where Matt, think it is.
Please say your name.
I think that it is more than likely in the Chiricahuas, not in the Palencia Mountains. I really do not think that is in the Skeleton Canyon.
That's fair.
Because it makes very little sense to me. So I think that Davis Mountain is actually a place that's actually named, and it's called Helen's Dome. The Outlaws, they named Davis Mountain after a friend, from what I've heard. Jim Davis. So they named it after a friend. So Davis Mountain could really be any part of the mountains in any mountain range, really, around that area.
It's the fun thing to be like, it's in Davis Mountains. Like, if it's a mountain, that's not a very good clue.
Yeah, so the first thing he says is, first go to Davis Mountain. Like, if you don't know where the fuck that is, why does it matter?
Even if you did know where it is, there's a very obscure, like, that's so vague. Like, a mountain is a huge...
Yeah, right? That's what I was thinking, too.
That also changes geographically all the time.
Yeah.
Depending on the weather. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, that's another part that's a kind of a big thing when it comes to, like, finding this thing. But I think that that Helen's Dome is the mountain that they talk about when they say Davis Mountain.
Where's that at?
It's in the Chiricahuas. It's in the Chiricahua mountain range. So when Zwing Hunt and Billy Grounds returned from the mountains, they went to the place called Jack Chandler's Ranch. Okay. And Jack Chandler's Ranch is almost 300 miles from Skeleton Canyon. But it's only about 150 miles from Helen's Dome, which is a very big difference. So
I mean, it's literally double the distance, but also like that's still a large amount of distance to cover back in the day.
It is, but I did the math, and okay. So when I say that I did the math, I use Google Maps.
That's right.
And since they all used like horse travel back then, horse and carriage,
Did you use a bicycle?
I did a bicycle.
Did you go a bicycle?
I used a bicycle, and it's only about like 2 hours, like by bicycle.
Yeah, I think it's a lot different because you have to stop and feed and water your horse, and also they get tired because they're living beings.
I don't know about that. Bicycles are...
Also, I think if you look up bicycle things on like Google Maps, I think they don't like. I don't think they account for like the fact that you're a person and you're gonna stop.
Yeah, you're right.
Like they don't
account for that with anything though, like even in cars.
I know, but like especially if you're using any sort of living thing to be the locomotion.
Yeah, but still, I mean, like think about it, like 2 hours as opposed to like 4 hours. It's kind of a big difference in terms
to go
of like
150 miles.
Yeah,
I feel like that would take like a week.
But okay, so let me put it this way: the Chiricahuas are the closest mountain range to Jack Chandler's Ranch.
I feel like there's just like a lot of factors that we have here. Like what time of year was it? What was the weather like? What was the
It was in the middle. It was, I think, May or August. It wasn't
so
hot or
probably
cold.
well, I know, but that's probably like better than winter.
Yeah, way better for sure.
Yeah, whatever.
So also, you can see direct connections between his description of the treasure's location and the area surrounding Helen's Dome. So what I did is I went through like the whole thing that he said, like first go to Davis Mountain, then like go to all these places.
Yeah.
And I did that in Google Earth,
Okay.
which is very different from when you're on foot.
Yeah.
But I did the best that I could, given my circumstances.
Do they have that when you're on the mountain where you click like Street View and you could just like?
Yes, exactly.
They really have that.
Yeah,
on the
okay,
mountain?
so Google Earth has changed so much that you can basically get on like a foot level of the mountain and like you can see it like
What?
in the air.
Are there streets?
Yeah. Well,
Oh, is it
not-
because there's streets there?
No, there's no streets there. Like you
I
can
thought
just
it was
see,
just like if you proceed from the apartment complex at the base, you can.
you can basically see like a topographical like first person view. It's
Yeah.
amazing. So that's what I did. Is first I looked for a rounded bowl granite dome,
Okay.
which Helen's Dome. When I went to the tourism site for it, what the description said was a mostly bare tower of granite. That's how they describe Helen's Dome, a rounded ball granite dome, which is exactly what they said.
Okay.
And right next to Helen's Dome, there's a big canyon, like right next to it, like right when you go off of it. He says, I think go west, which if you go west, there is a canyon directly west of it. And I followed all of like the descriptions, like go west, you follow all these like little clues and shit.
Okay.
What I found is what looks like a big rock with an X on it. Could be nothing. Could be everything.
I have a theory now.
Yes, what is your theory?
No, finish your theory, because my theory is going to blow your mind.
No, that's it.
There's a big rock with an X on it? That's your whole thing?
Yeah. Yeah.
Has anyone dug at the big rock with an X on it? That
Okay,
seems like
so
the biggest place to
Listen to me,
fucking dig.
listen to me.
Okay.
No one has ever posited this theory before. I am the first one that I know of to look at this place.
All right.
Everybody's looking in Skeleton Canyon.
All right. I want you to just reiterate short term what the theory was then.
Okay, so first you go to
Chickasaw Mountains.
First you go to Davis Mountain, which is a rounded ball granite dome.
What's
That
What's
is Helen's Dome. Wait, did you say what
What
state?
state?
Arizona.
Arizona. Chickasaw Mountains.
Chiricahua.
Chiricahua. Same shit. Helen's Dome.
Yes.
Go past the apartment complex.
Yes. To your left, there's an Arby's.
There's a canyon to the west.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. To the best of my knowledge.
Alright, so on the mountain, look for the rock with a giant X on it. Wait, could you see the X from the Google Maps?
I could, yes. So, okay.
Oh, shit.
But if you get, if you could get really close, it's very impressive
Alright.
what they can do with technology now. But okay, so I don't remember the exact terminology that they use, but they said go west and there's a canyon right off of it, and it says take a couple of turns,
Okay.
and eventually you get to a between two streams. There is a burned out carriage.
Okay.
And that's the carriage that they burned and everything.
Did they bury the carriage?
No, they just burned it. So all that should be left now is pretty much just maybe a few, pieces
Is
of
this
metal.
area, is it a populated area?
It's not populated at all.
Okay,
right now.
so it would maybe be some little scraps of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But so I did actually read a thing on I read a thing on this treasure hunting forum where this guy sent in I would say he sent a letter to somebody. And it said that he was in a creek that's right near where I was talking about.
Yeah.
And he said that he found the cog of an old carriage in that creek.
He wasn't looking for this treasure.
No, he wasn't. He just posted
He was
about
just
it.
in there and he found it.
Yeah, and he basically what he was saying is there must be something around there because I found this big cog to a carriage. Maybe there's some treasure around there.
Okay.
So it had nothing to do with this treasure. He just posted it.
Okay.
So it's very possible that something could be buried there. Like that could be the carriage that they talk about in the story.
It's very well true.
Why I also think that other people, like the other problems that could be keeping people from finding it, is in 1887, right after this happened, there was the Sonora earthquake happened.
Yes.
Which it has a magnitude of 7.6, which most earthquakes are usually between 3.0 and 5.0.
All right, so it's a big earthquake.
It was a really big ass earthquake.
Yeah.
It changed the face of like everywhere around that area.
Change your face.
All right. It killed 51 people, and it very much changed the geography of Arizona's southern mountains.
Oh shit.
Also, it's very possible that someone could have already found it and just not said anything.
I wouldn't say anything.
I mean,
that's a smart move. I want to say that to everyone who is actually looking for treasure.
Yeah.
Do not report it because the federal government will come in and take all of your treasure.
Yeah.
And then also claim it as like a federal land after that. Like you can't even go back to it.
Yeah, the government's pretty bad about that stuff.
Do not do that. The government is wrong.
Our podcast does not condone that type of behavior, but seriously, just
I work for the federal.
yeah, you do. That's actually very true.
Your treasure money will go to me very slowly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Report it. I don't care.
So, I mean, that's pretty much all I have. Like, that's all my theories for where it could be. I really think that it could be near Helen's Dome. I think that is the Davis
Sounds
Mountain
like
we talk
a really,
about.
really good theory.
So,
I also had a theory.
what is that?
Are you ready for this?
I've been ready for your theory for the last 2 weeks.
I'm not ready for this.
Lay it on me, sister. You want me to do a drum roll?
It's going to make so much sense.
No, I'm completely on board for whatever you say, no matter what you
So
say.
you said you think is at Helen's Dome, which
Yes.
is described as a bare dome, which very near to it has a canyon.
A mostly bald tower of granite.
A bald canyon.
Yes. Helen's Dome is a bald canyon.
And then they
What is so hard to
hid
understand?
out in a cave.
Yes. Helen's Cave.
I think he's referring to a vagina. I think it was a woman named Helen
Okay.
who had a shaved vagina,
hmm
which was weird enough to know back in the day.
Okay.
I don't think there's any treasure.
I don't think any
He's talking
vaginas
about-
were shaved back in the day, though.
That's why it would be worth noting.
Oh, so the one that was shaved was Helen's.
It was Helen. It was
Helen.
Helen's Dome. First, the pubis mound,
Mhm.
and then the canyon right next
The
to
Mons pubis.
it. And there was the cave that he hid in.
hmm
Him and his friend.
So you think that the two
For
men
several weeks.
got inside of this vagina?
And I think that they found treasure
Mhm.
or hid their treasure
Quote unquote,
there.
quote unquote.
Meaning happiness. Like they found themselves, and it was the happiest time that they've ever had.
Isn't really that's what this podcast is about then? Like the treasure of happiness.
Is that not some weird code that they would send back in the day to their sister?
Mhm.
Like you never hear stories of a letter back in the day. Where
I gotta
they're
be
just
honest,
like,
I have two sisters, possibly four. And if I hid inside of a woman's vagina, they are the last people that I would let know about that.
yeah, but also they had no other friends because they couldn't talk to their other friends because they hid a treasure in the fucking desert.
So you admit that it was in the desert?
Yeah, Skeleton Canyon. I think it's still in Skeleton Canyon. The letters are literally just about them having sex with a girl named Helen.
Yeah, we didn't capture all the high fives that they did afterwards.
Yeah, it's hard to write a high five
Yeah.
into a letter. Like, they didn't know how to use asterisks back then or anything.
Yeah, there were no
They didn't have
emojis.
emojis. Oh, do you think they would just have the emoji with the two hands?
Yeah. I like to think
Yeah,
so.
no, I think that literally it's all just a metaphor for the happiness that they found double teaming a lady named Helen.
That's true. It's very possible that this treasure doesn't exist and it's all about sex. Which,
I mean, it probably exists. Like, they probably stole money. I think that they moved it like 30 yards away. And people back in the day were really stupid. It was really hot. And they were like, well, I'm not going to dig around here. Because what do you do? Like, we've all seen movies where it's like, it says right here, like 30 paces to the left. And then and then it skips like a time lapse, like 3 hours later, and there's like 15 holes in that one area, and they're just like, well, it's not here. Like, but then like one dude just like digs his shovel in randomly to a spot in between other spots, and he's just like, I found it. Like,
it's weird that everything you said I could picture in my brain.
Yeah, that's literally how it goes, though, because if you dig a hole, you bury treasure, time passes, especially in the desert heat and sun. Arizona's like 90% clay and dust just hard packed into the floor.
Yeah, that's very true.
So, like, as soon as you leave that, 2 weeks later, that shit is going to be as hard as any other spot you dig up. So, like, you try and dig into that, it's going to feel like it's never been dug before. You're like, this probably isn't it. And like, but, like, that's the thing. It's like, if I dig something 6 feet to the left of me, and then I try to leave vague clues to where it is, like,
yeah, that's the hard part with any treasure, though.
Exactly, though.
Yeah, it's hard to leave clues to, like, an exact spot.
Like, the only thing that gives it away is, like, because that's the other thing you didn't bring up, like, in your little map things, you didn't see a stone obelisk with an X.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, if you did leave something like that, that's obviously where you dig. But even that, like, do you dig underneath the stone obelisk? Do you dig in front of it?
But you gotta remember, is like, this is written down history, which means that, like,
you also said in the last episode, Monterey said that they didn't get robbed.
Yeah, but it could be a different one. Like, it could be a different place.
Could just be people trying to get clout.
Exactly. It's the same thing. It's the same thing with this, though. Is like, one person could say a stone obelisk. It could be like a bad game of telephone. You know, like, it could actually just be like it could be nothing. You know, it could just be like a fucking a stone post. I mean, stone obelisk sounds cool as hell, but it doesn't sound very reasonable.
I think you also said that some people think it's just a wooden post.
Well, a lot of people think that it's like two crosses, like, made of wood, carved into, or put into the stone obelisk. Which, I mean, it almost sounds too perfect to me. Like, finding a stone obelisk sounds cool as hell.
Work
yeah.
To also find a stone obelisk that someone did stonework and then, like, carved little wooden cross to put into it. That sounds so crazy.
Yeah, but it's a good story. I mean, I would love to find this thing. And
I don't know. I feel like everyone would love to find it.
I mean, soon I am actually going to take a trip up there if you would like to go with me.
We'll talk about that off mic, you know? $2 to $8 million.
That would be pretty cool. Right?
Anywhere in between.
Yeah.
It'd be 2.7.
I mean, anywhere in between, that sounds good to me.
3.7.
But think of the inflation rate. That was like $2 to $8 million back then.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we covered this.
All right. So, in the early 2000s, the show Unsolved Mysteries ran an interview on their show with a few people that are well-versed in treasure hunting about the Skeleton Canyon treasure. The names and voices have been changed for their privacy, but the quotes are mostly unchanged. So this is basically like a real interview. It's just, I tweaked it just a little bit just to kind of make sense in the context.
What did you tweak about it?
Just a few of the, you'll see.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to be playing the part of the reporter, and you're going to be playing the part of the treasure hunter. I'm also going to be the historian.
I'm sorry, what is the treasure hunter's name?
You'll see. All right, here we go.
Okay.
Hunters have searched for years in Skeleton Canyon. They've turned up bleached bones and old Mexican coins, but no treasure. Is the treasure real? It depends on who you ask. One treasure hunter, with the online name Looking for Booty, has this to say about the matter.
It's a known fact that it's a real treasure. This is one of the treasures that's absolutely real.
In response to this, one Arizona historian, Frank McMahon, had this to say. No. I don't believe that there is a Skeleton Canyon treasure waiting out there to be found. So why exactly, in your opinion, has the treasure not been found?
The Estrada gang has come out of Mexico through Sonora, and we're going through what was later known to become the Skeleton Canyon. The outlaws shot the Mexicans off their mounts, and that resulted in the contraband being scattered all over the canyon. And in order to stop the mules from scattering and taking the loot with them, the Curly Bill Brocious gang were shooting the mules.
Those outlaws sound like bigger asses than the mules that they were shooting. After this, they divided the treasure up between themselves and headed into town, burying what they couldn't carry right in the Skeleton Canyon, only to come back later with more manpower to get the rest. However, according to Looking for Booty, 2 members of the gang had different plans.
Well, Swing Hunt and Billy Grounds are friends, and they decided that while the rest of the gang was out in the local bar spending their money, they would double-cross the gang and come back into the canyon. They were able to find a Mexican teamster. They talked him into bringing his team of horses into Skeleton Canyon and remove the treasure, and of course he was later killed because they wanted to keep the new hiding place a secret. It's very likely that the treasure is still buried within the vicinity of Skeleton Canyon, probably no more than 30 miles away.
Browns and Hunt then stayed in the cave near the treasure for a few months. During this time, Billy Grounds wrote his sister a series of letters that may tell the location of the cache. Self-described Treasure Daddy, Looking for Booty, claims to have seen these letters and, when asked about them, has this to say.
Well, one of the letters, he was writing to his sister. He said, "There's a cave at the mouth of the canyon. I found that cave. And it goes back 80 feet. We even dug in the cave, and we even found old ropes, that were buried there. And one of the things in the letter, it said, from our lookout, you can see the turf growing back over where we buried the treasure at, which, down in the valley. I have found all the clues in the letters, every one of them. When I once found the right place to look, everything fit, and everything is there. So I know the treasure is, I'm near where it's at, it's there."
Again, Arizona historian Frank McMahon chimed in on the subject.
Okay, Billy Grounds, who was supposed to have written the letters, was a 19-year-old Texas cowboy rustler type. It's unlikely to me that he would have been writing home detailed letters about, "Hey, we robbed these Mexicans and buried this huge treasure. Here's how to find it."
But Looking for Booty said he has found evidence in the cave that proves the letters are real.
I disagree with that last person. Maggie was Billy Ground's sister, and she and a man who had spent 2 years living in a cave out there looked for this treasure. We found this, we had found this vase in the cave, and it says Maggie on it. It says 1885 World's Fair, so I know that was Billy Ground's sister that was there looking for this treasure.
What? A vase? Okay, look, it seems to me that this is another typical treasure hunting yarn.
You suck.
Wait, we never get to see the map. Where's the map?
You're the map.
We never get to examine it for its genuineness or see if it matches up with any handwriting samples we might have.
You have a small dick.
Again, Looking for Booty stressed to us that he has seen the map made by Hunt's uncle.
The map shows the canyon, and it shows where the cave is. Everything matches, but on account of the earthquake in 1886, I think that the treasure is around 20 feet deep. Part of the mountain caved it off.
In the end, though, historian McMahon at least admitted that even though he has his doubts, he can't rule anything out.
Abso-fucking-lutely not. Okay, I think the Skeleton Canyon treasure is a very plausible story from the standpoint that every time it would rain somebody's skull would show up or another coin would become evident. And compared to a lot of other stories, it's got a lot more possibility than, I would say, the Lost Dutchman mine, for instance.
McMahon's more like McFlam, because he's Flim Flam. Fuck that guy. When I find the treasure, I'll stop looking for it. Because I know it's real. This treasure is real, and I know I found the right place where it's at. Fuck you. It's as real as the Lost Dutchman's mine. And that's all I gotta say about the subject.
Looking for Booty was found dead of natural causes a few days after this interview. I'm sorry I had to do like that again. But seriously, this character.
Why would you that wasn't part of my script.
Yeah, but the actual character that you were playing, it was based on a real person, and this treasure hunter.
I'm aware because I felt the real person as I was channeling him through me. And also, wait, was McMahon a real person?
Yeah, he was a real historian.
That person sucks a dick.
Yeah, he was a good guy. You're right.
I mean, that person sucks warty dicks. Like dicks with warts.
Hot takes.
Hot takes and hot dicks, you know.
So, sadly, this guy that got interviewed for Unsolved Mysteries is actually dead.
I just want to
rest in
know,
peace.
Matt did not tell me that person was dead, and I kind of feel like I died a little bit because I was just that person.
Well, every day we get a little closer to death. Isn't that fun?
Fucked up way to think about it, but yeah, you know.
As we come to an end on this podcast, I just want to let everybody know where you can support us. We are Golden Boys Pod on Instagram.
Yeah.
And you can email us at goldenboyspod@gmail.com if you have anything to say. Yeah, I have a Gmail. I set up a whole thing.
You set up a whole thing?
Yeah, I've been getting tons of emails from hot women online.
I doubt every fucking thing you just said.
You're just jealous.
I don't even think you have.
Don't be jealous. Why would I say it on the podcast?
No, to sound cool.
Come on. Did I sound cool?
I don't know. Yeah, a little bit.
Mission accomplished. All right, we're gonna head out here. We'll see you on the next one.
I heard Matt goof himself on a Home Depot one time.
All right, let's not talk about that. Goodbye.
Did you put yourself on a Home Depot?